The dust of the Lüneburger Heide settled like golden ash on the horizon as the year turned to 1878. In the flat, endless heathlands of northern Germany, where the wind carried the scent of pine and peat rather than sagebrush, a man rode alone. His name was Jack Eisenfaust, though few called him that anymore. To the scattered farmers and peat cutters of the Moor, he was simply their Fremde, the stranger. With a long duster coat patched from Prussian army surplus, a wide-brimmed hat that looked stolen from an American photograph, and a cold peacemaker riding low on his hip, the only one anyone had ever seen this side of the Atlantic. Jack had come back from the New World 5 years earlier, after the war between the states chewed him up and spat him out. He had crossed the ocean chasing gold in California, found only blood in Virginia, and returned with nothing but scars, a dead brother's silver watch, and a reputation he could never quite shake. Germany had changed while he was gone. The new Reich under Bismarck was knitting itself together with iron and coal, railroads snaking across the land like steel veins. But in the lonely moors between Celle and Uelzen, the old ways clung stubborn as heather. Land barons still ruled like kings, and where law ended, men with guns began. He had taken work as a night watch for the new telegraph line being strung across the heath. Poles marched in straight rows toward the horizon, carrying copper whispers from Berlin to Hamburg. The company paid in marks, but the real danger came from the Blackheath Gang, former soldiers turned robbers, deserters from the Franco-Prussian War who refused to lay down their rifles. They hit the construction camps at night, stealing wire, tools, horses, and sometimes lives. The foreman, a nervous Berliner named Müller, had hired Jack because word had reached him. This quiet man with the American drawl could shoot the eye out of a hawk at 50 paces and never wasted a bullet. One October evening. As the sun blood-red across the flat sky, Jack sat by a small fire near the half-finished repeater station, a wooden shack with a single wire trailing into the dusk. He cleaned his revolver methodically, the metallic clicks the only sound besides the wind. Then he heard it, Hofbeats, too many, coming fast from the east. He stood, coat falling open. 6 riders appeared over the low rise, silhouettes against the dying light. They wore dark cloaks, faces wrapped in scarves against the moor dust. The leader pulled up 20 yards away, a tall figure on a black Hanoverian stallion, a Mauser carbine across his saddle. "Evening, Telegraph man," the leader called, voice muffled but amused. "We're just borrowing some of your pretty copper. Step aside, and no one bleeds." Jack said nothing at first. He simply thumped back the hammer. The click carried clear across the open ground. The leader laughed. "Brave. Stupid, but brave. You think one man stops us?" "I reckon one man can stop 6 fools who ride bunched like sheep," Jack answered in low German laced with an American twang. "Last chance. Ride on." The gang fanned out. One man, impatient, drew a pistol. Jack moved first, his Colt spoke once, flame stabbing the twilight. The man jerked backward, pistol unfired, tumbling from the saddle. The others froze for half a heartbeat. Then chaos. Bullets whined past Jack's ears as he rolled behind a telegraph pole. He fired twice more. 2 more riders dropped, one clutching his shoulder, the other silent forever. The leader cursed, wheeled his horse, and charged straight at the shack, carbine blazing. Wood splintered above Jack's head. He waited, counting breaths, then stepped out just as the horse closed the gap. The colt barked a 3rd time. The leader's carbine flew from his hands. He slumped forward, clinging to the mane as his horse bolted past. The remaining 2 riders broke, galloping into the gathering dark. Jack reloaded slowly, ears ringing. He walked to the fallen men. 2 dead, 1 groaning with a shattered collarbone. The leader had vanished into the heath, trailing blood. Word spread like more fire. By morning, farmers from miles around came to see the American who had faced 6-1. Müller paid him double and offered a bonus. Jack took the money but refused the drink. He never drank anymore, not since Gettysburg. But the Black Heath gang wasn't finished. Their leader, a former Prussian officer named von Röder, survived the wound. He had lost face, money, and 2 brothers that night. Revenge became his only compass. Weeks passed. The telegraph line crept forward. Jack wrote the poles each dusk, rifle across his back now, a second revolver in his saddlebag. He began to notice things, tracks that didn't match the gang's usual patterns, fresh boot prints near the workers' tents, a glint of field glasses on distant ridges. Someone was watching, planning. Then came the girl. Ihr Name war Lena Voss. She worked the peat fields with her father, widower whose lungs were black from years in the cuttings. Lena was 20, sharp-eyed, with hair the color of ripe rye and a tongue that cut like a skinning knife. She brought food to the camp sometimes, bread, smoked sausage, weak beer, because her father said the workers were building the future, and the future should not starve. One afternoon she found Jack sitting alone on a fallen pine log, staring at the horizon. She set down a basket. "You eat like a ghost," she said. "Even ghosts need strength to haunt the heath." He looked up. "Not hungry?" "Yeah," she said uninvited. "They say you killed 3 men last month. They say you talk to the wind like it's an old friend. Wind don't talk back much." She studied him. "Why stay? You could go to Berlin. Be somebody. Been somebody before. Didn't like it." She laughed, a sound like clear water over stones. "You sound like my father when he talks about the old wars. All honor, no future." They talked until the sun dropped. She told him about the Moor, how it swallowed men who wandered too far, how the old peat cutters believed spirits walked the fog. He told her fragments, the smell of gunpowder in Shiloh, the taste of defeat in Appomattox, the way a man's eyes change when the light leaves them. After that, she came often. Not every day, but enough. She brought stories, and he listened. For the first time in years, the silence inside him felt less heavy. Von Röder struck on All Saints' Night. The gang replenished, now 12 strong. Hit the main camp at midnight. Torches flared. Shots cracked. Workers screamed. They cut the telegraph wire in 3 places, stole horses, and set fire to the supply wagons. Jack was 2 miles west, checking a weak pole, when he saw the orange glow. He rode hard, coat flapping like raven wings. By the time he reached the camp, half was ablaze. Müller lay dead, throat cut. Bodies scattered like broken dolls. He found von Röder standing over a kneeling figure. Lena's father, hands bound, face bloody. The Prussian smiled when he saw Jack. "Ah, the American hero. Come to save the day again?" Jack dismounted slowly. "Let the old man go." "Why?" "He has a daughter. Pretty thing. Perhaps I'll take her instead." Jack's hand hovered near the colt. "You touch her, you die slow." Von Röder laukhet. Bold words for a man facing 12. 10, Jack corrected. "I count 2 already dead behind the wagons." The gang shifted uneasily. They had heard the stories. Von Röder raised his saber, yes, a saber, like some relic from Waterloo. "Take him." They came. Jack drew. The night exploded. He fired left, right, left, 3 men dropped before they closed half the distance. A bullet grazed his arm, burning like fire. He switched to the second revolver, fanning the hammer. Another fell. Horses reared. Men shouted. Von Röder charged on foot, saber high. Jack sidestepped, caught the blade on his forearm, steel bit deep, and drove his elbow into the Prussian's throat. Von Röder gagged, stummelt.